Have you ever wondered what it feels like to stand beneath dancing lights in the sky, to hear ancient glaciers crack like thunder, or to walk through forests older than civilizations themselves? What if I told you there is a country where nearly 40% of the land is still untouched wilderness, where you can experience 4 distinct seasons in their most dramatic forms, and where nature stretches so far that it seems endless? Welcome to Canada, the second largest country on Earth by total land area, a nation of snow-capped peaks, turquoise lakes, roaring waterfalls, Arctic tundra, and vibrant multicultural cities. A land where nature doesn't just exist, it dominates. Today on ExploreX, we are traveling deep into the heart of Canada to explore its most extraordinary wonders, from powerful waterfalls to surreal mountain lakes, from the northern lights to ancient national parks. This is not just a travel video. This is a journey into one of the most beautiful countries on Earth. Let's begin. Niagara Falls, the roaring giant. When you first hear it, you feel it before you see it. A distant rumble, a thunderous vibration in the air. A sound so powerful it seems to shake the ground beneath your feet. Then suddenly, it appears. Niagara Falls. Located on the border between Canada and the United States, this natural wonder is not just a waterfall. It is one of the most powerful waterfalls in the world. Every single minute, more than 3,000 tons of water crash over its edge. Imagine that for a moment. 3,000 tons every minute. That is over 180,000 tons every hour. The falls are made up of 3 sections: Horseshoe Falls, American Falls, and Bridal Veil Falls. The Canadian side, known as Horseshoe Falls, is the largest and most iconic. Nearly 90% of the water flows over this crescent-shaped giant. The sheer force of the water creates a mist that rises high into the sky. On sunny days, rainbows appear almost constantly, arching across the spray like nature's own signature. But Niagara is more than beauty. It is power. Approximately 50% of the flow of the Niagara River is diverted for hydroelectric power generation. That means the falls are not only breathtaking, they help power cities. At night, colorful lights illuminate the cascading water, turning it into a glowing curtain of movement. During winter, ice formations cling to the edges, transforming the landscape into a frozen kingdom. More than 12 million visitors travel here each year. Why? Because standing near Niagara Falls makes you feel small, yet deeply alive. It is nature reminding you that power and beauty can exist in the same place. And this is only the beginning. Banff National Park, the crown jewel of the Rockies. If Niagara is power, Banff is poetry. Nestled in the heart of the Canadian Rockies in Alberta, Banff National Park is Canada's oldest national park. Established in 1885, it protects over 6,600 square kilometers of mountains, forests, glaciers, and lakes. Imagine snow-covered peaks reflecting in crystal-clear waters, so turquoise they look unreal. That is Lake Louise. The color of the lake comes from glacial rock flour, fine particles created by glaciers grinding against rock. When sunlight hits these particles suspended in the water, the lake glows an otherworldly blue-green. Every season transforms Banff. In winter, nearly 60% of the park is blanketed in snow. Skiers and snowboarders carve through powder at world-class resorts. Frozen waterfalls hang like chandeliers from cliffs. In spring, wildflowers bloom across alpine meadows. In summer, temperatures rise, hiking trails open, and wildlife becomes active. You might see elk grazing calmly, or even spot a grizzly bear from a safe distance. In autumn, golden larch trees paint the mountainsides in warm tones, creating a breathtaking contrast against icy peaks. Banff is also home to the Columbia Icefield, one of the largest ice fields in North America. Some of its glaciers are over 10,000 years old. Think about that. Ice that formed before recorded human history. Visitors can walk on the Athabasca Glacier, feeling ancient earth beneath their boots. More than 4 million people visit Banff every year, yet large portions of the park remain wild and untouched. It is a place where silence speaks, where mountains tower above you like ancient guardians, where every breath of air feels cleaner, fresher, more alive. Banff is not just a destination, it is a reminder that Earth is still capable of perfection. The Northern Lights in Yukon, nature's celestial symphony. What if the sky itself began to dance? Not metaphorically, not in your imagination, but truly, waves of green, purple, and crimson light rippling across the darkness above you. In Canada's far north, especially in Yukon, this is not fantasy, it is reality. Yukon is one of the best places on Earth to witness the aurora borealis, commonly known as the Northern Lights. Thanks to its high latitude, low light pollution, and long winter nights, visibility conditions are extraordinary. In fact, during peak season, visitors have up to 75% chance of seeing the aurora on clear nights. But what exactly are you seeing? The aurora forms when charged particles from the sun collide with gases in Earth's atmosphere. These collisions release energy in the form of light. Oxygen produces green and red hues. Nitrogen creates blue and purple tones. Yet no scientific explanation truly prepares you for the emotional impact. Imagine standing beneath a sky so alive that it feels like the universe is performing exclusively for you. The lights move like curtains in the wind, slow at first, then suddenly surging in luminous waves. The best viewing months are between September and March. During this time, Yukon experiences up to 18 hours of darkness in winter. Temperatures can fall below -30 degrees Celsius, yet thousands of travelers brave the cold for one unforgettable moment. In communities like Whitehorse and Dawson City, local guides share indigenous stories about the aurora. Some First Nations legends describe the lights as spirits dancing in the sky. Others believe they are ancestors communicating from above. Nearly 80% of Yukon remains wilderness. That means minimal artificial light, vast open skies, and pure silence. When the aurora appears, the silence becomes sacred. There are no crowds shouting, no loud music, just the soft crunch of snow beneath your boots and the crackling of distant ice. For many visitors, witnessing the Northern Lights becomes a life-changing memory, not because of what they saw, but because of how it made them feel. Small, humbled, connected. Yukon reminds us that even in darkness, beauty can blaze brilliantly. Jasper National Park, the wild heart of the Rockies. If Banff is elegance, Jasper is untamed wilderness. Located just north of Banff in Alberta, Jasper National Park covers over 11,000 square kilometers, making it the largest national park in the Canadian Rockies. That is larger than some entire countries. Jasper feels less crowded, more raw, more expansive. Nearly 97% of the park is designated wilderness. Here, nature dominates without apology. One of Jasper's most dramatic features is the Athabasca Falls. Unlike Niagara's massive width, Athabasca Falls is narrower, but far more aggressive. The water carves through solid quartzite rock with astonishing force. The result is a canyon sculpted over thousands of years. Then there is Moraine Lake, home to the iconic Spirit Island. Surrounded by jagged peaks and mirror-like water, it is one of the most photographed locations in Canada. Jasper is also part of the world's second-largest dark sky preserve. That means light pollution is strictly controlled. On clear nights, the Milky Way stretches across the sky with breathtaking clarity. Wildlife thrives here. Elk, moose, mountain goats, wolves, and even grizzly bears roam freely. Approximately 65 species of mammals live within the park boundaries. In winter, snow blankets nearly 70% of the landscape. In summer, temperatures rise to comfortable levels, and hikers explore hundreds of kilometers of trails. The Columbia Icefield, which Jasper shares with Banff, feeds multiple glaciers here. Some scientists estimate parts of this ice date back thousands of years. Jasper is not polished, it is powerful. It is vast valleys, roaring rivers, and towering peaks without fences or filters. It is Canada in its purest form. The Bay of Fundy, the ocean that breathes. What if the ocean disappeared before your eyes and then returned hours later? In eastern Canada, between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, lies one of the most astonishing tidal phenomena on Earth, the Bay of Fundy. This bay holds the record for the highest tides in the world. Twice daily, more than 100 billion tons of seawater flow in and out of the bay. That is more water than all the world's freshwater rivers combined. At high tide, waves surge up to 16 meters in some areas. At low tide, the ocean floor is exposed, revealing rock formations sculpted by time. One of the most famous sites here is Hopewell Rocks, where massive stone pillars rise from the ocean floor. During low tide, visitors can walk around these formations. Just hours later, the same rocks are partially submerged beneath rising water. The difference between low and high tide can exceed 15 meters. Imagine standing on dry seabed, then watching the water return, slowly at first, then rapidly, filling the bay like a giant bathtub. Marine life flourishes here. Approximately 12 species of whales visit the Bay of Fundy each year, including humpback and fin whales. Nutrient-rich waters create one of the most productive marine ecosystems in the world. Scientists estimate the tidal movement here releases energy equivalent to millions of tons of force daily. The Bay of Fundy feels alive. It breathes, it moves, it transforms, and it reminds us that even something as vast as the ocean follows rhythms we can barely comprehend. Old Quebec City, a European dream in North America. What if you could walk through North America, but feel like you had stepped into Europe? In the province of Quebec stands one of Canada's most charming and historic treasures, Old Quebec City. Founded in 1608 by Samuel de Champlain, Quebec City is one of the oldest European settlements in North America. Nearly 400 years of history echo through its cobblestone streets. Old Quebec is the only fortified city north of Mexico whose walls still stand. In 1985, it was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a recognition granted to places of extraordinary cultural importance. At the heart of the city rises the iconic Chateau Frontenac. Perched high above the St. Lawrence River, this grand hotel is said to be one of the most photographed hotels in the world. Its castle-like towers dominate the skyline, blending romance and history into one unforgettable silhouette. Walking through Old Quebec feels like traveling back in time. Narrow stone streets wind between centuries-old buildings. Street musicians play violins. Cafes spill onto sidewalks. In winter, snow blankets rooftops, transforming the city into something straight out of a fairy tale. Nearly 80% of Quebec's population speaks French as their first language. That cultural identity gives the city a unique atmosphere unlike anywhere else in Canada. During winter, the famous Quebec Winter Carnival draws visitors from around the world. Ice sculptures tower over public squares, parades thump the streets. Temperatures can drop below -20 degrees Celsius, yet the energy remains warm and joyful. In autumn, the surrounding countryside glows with vibrant red and orange foliage. In summer, festivals celebrate music, art, and culture. Old Quebec City is proof that Canada's wonders are not only natural, they are cultural, historical, and deeply human. It is a place where time slows down, where history lives not in museums alone, but in every stone beneath your feet. Moraine Lake, the Valley of 10 Peaks. If there were a single image that defined Canada's natural beauty, it might be Moraine Lake. Located in the Valley of the 10 Peaks within the Canadian Rockies, Moraine Lake is one of the most photographed lakes in the world, but photographs do not capture its full magic. The lake sits at an elevation of nearly 1,885 meters above sea level. Surrounded by 10 towering mountain peaks, it looks like a painting brought to life. The color of Moraine Lake is almost surreal, an intense shade of turquoise that seems impossible in nature. This color comes from glacial meltwater carrying fine rock particles known as glacial flour. When sunlight reflects off these particles, the water glows brilliantly. The lake is typically accessible between late spring and early autumn. For much of the year, snow covers the region. When summer arrives, the ice melts, filling the lake and intensifying its color. Early morning is the most magical time to visit. As the sun rises behind the peaks, golden light spills across the water. The mountains reflect perfectly on the surface, creating a mirror-like illusion. Nearly 100% of visitors describe Moraine Lake as more beautiful than they imagined. The surrounding trails offer breathtaking viewpoints. The Rockpile Trail, though short, provides one of the most iconic panoramic scenes in Canada. Standing there, you feel surrounded by giants, ancient mountains that have stood for millions of years. The air is crisp, the water is still, the silence feels sacred. Moraine Lake is not just scenery. It is a moment of stillness in a fast-moving world. The Canadian Arctic, land of ice and silence. Beyond the forests and mountains lies a different Canada, vast, frozen, and mysterious. The Canadian Arctic spans nearly 40% of the country's total land area. It is a land of tundra, glaciers, polar ice, and extreme conditions. Here, temperatures in winter can fall below -40 degrees Celsius. In summer, the sun may not set for weeks in certain regions, a phenomenon known as the midnight sun. This region includes parts of Nunavut, the Northwest Territories, and northern Yukon. Wildlife here is both resilient and extraordinary. Polar bears roam across icy landscapes. Arctic foxes adapt to harsh climates. Massive caribou herds migrate across open tundra. Approximately 60% of Canada's coastline lies within Arctic territory. The waters are filled with narwhals, beluga whales, and seals. The Arctic is also home to Indigenous Inuit communities who have lived in harmony with this environment for thousands of years. Their traditions, knowledge, and survival skills are deeply connected to the land and sea. The landscape feels endless. White snow stretches to the horizon. Icebergs drift silently through frigid waters. There are no skyscrapers here, no highways, no noise. Just wind, ice, and the heartbeat of nature. The Canadian Arctic reminds us that beauty does not always look warm or welcoming. Sometimes beauty is harsh, silent, and profoundly powerful. Vancouver, where ocean meets mountains. Few cities in the world are surrounded by such dramatic natural beauty as Vancouver. Located in British Columbia on Canada's west coast, Vancouver sits between the Pacific Ocean and towering mountain ranges. Nearly 40% of the city is covered in green space. Parks, forests, and waterfronts blend seamlessly into urban life. Stanley Park alone spans over 400 hectares, larger than many urban parks worldwide. Its seawall stretches nearly 9 kilometers, offering panoramic views of ocean and mountains. From downtown, you can ski in the mountains during the morning and kayak in the ocean by afternoon. Vancouver's climate is milder than most of Canada. Winters are cool but rarely extreme. Summers are warm and pleasant. The city is consistently ranked among the top most livable cities in the world. Approximately 50% of its residents speak a language other than English at home, making it one of the most multicultural cities in Canada. The skyline reflects in the harbor waters. Snow-capped peaks rise in the background. Seaplanes glide across the sky. Vancouver is proof that urban life and natural beauty do not have to compete. They can coexist. And when they do, the result is extraordinary. Prince Edward Island, gentle beauty by the sea. Not all wonders roar like waterfalls or tower like mountains. Some whisper. Prince Edward Island, Canada's smallest province, offers a softer, gentler kind of beauty. Famous for its red sandstone cliffs and rolling green farmland, the island feels peaceful and welcoming. The coastline stretches for hundreds of kilometers. Beaches with soft sand meet calm waters. Lighthouses stand proudly along the shore. Nearly 50% of the island's land is dedicated to agriculture. Potato fields stretch toward the horizon, earning the island its reputation for rich farming traditions. The island is also forever connected to literature through the beloved novel Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Visitors from around the world come to see the landscapes that inspired this timeless story. In autumn, fields glow golden under warm sunlight. In summer, coastal breezes carry the scent of saltwater and wildflowers. Prince Edward Island reminds us that beauty does not need to be dramatic to be unforgettable. Sometimes it is found in quiet sunsets, in gentle waves, in peaceful countryside roads. Canada, a land beyond imagination. From the thunder of Niagara Falls to the glowing skies of Yukon, from the towering peaks of Banff and Moraine Lake to the frozen silence of the Arctic, from historic Quebec City to the coastal calm of Prince Edward Island, Canada is not just a country, it is an experience. Nearly 90% of its land remains sparsely populated. Vast wilderness stretches across mountains, forests, tundra, and coastline. It is a place where you can feel small beneath the northern lights, yet deeply connected to something greater. A land where nature still leads. A land where every season transforms the world into something new. So let me ask you one final question. If you could choose just one of these wonders to witness with your own eyes, which would it be? Tell us in the comments below. And if this journey across Canada inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to ExploreX for more breathtaking adventures around the world. Until next time, keep exploring.